Hi, in this particular case, I want to review, frankly, a very hardball, let's solve this minnow problem very rapidly case study. It happened back in 1976, and I, as a chief operating officer of a regional distribution chain based out of St. Louis, Missouri, I was working for a wheeler dealer entrepreneur who was using a lot of debt to buy companies, and he had three chronic locations that had been chronic losers for some time. And it was my insight to look at the sort of customer profitability ranking report to sort of reveal the minnow opportunity. Um, and so I was working for a guy who wanted results very fast. Let me just leave it at that way. So what we did was we didn't mess around. We sent the letters right away to all the minnows, and when in doubt, we sent them the letter. We did put in because we had two of the three warehouses had um, locations that were old, decrepit, down in central, town kind of place. So there a lot of people could sort of get to our place, and we kind of had showrooms and a will call counter anyway. So by saying, look, here's the new minimum order that you can place, but you have to come pick it up. If you want us to deliver it, then it's going to cost you this much money, and if you want to get free delivery in the city, it's going to be a much bigger order. So we kind of gave them maybe three different price points on minimum orders. Well, what happened at one location was there were on average 37 new will calls per day. These were orders that were traditionally delivered on city trucks. So since people were coming out to pick it up, we didn't need instantly two trucks and two drivers, so they got laid off. When we had before we kicked off the program, we had identified that really four out of the eight reps that we had were frankly just small order salespeople. This had made sense 80 years before, but the cost of people and driving around has gotten up. The cost of dribbling, all of our people and the trucks stopping and delivering just had gotten too expensive. So we basically fired those guys, switched their few key accounts to the four good ones, etc. All the things I've talked about in the last couple of slides. We did, because we went so quickly, get pushback problems. Basically, everybody, I would explain these things, but I speak very quickly, and I've had lots to think about it, and they just were having problems with spiritual beliefs. They could kind of sort of conceptually get it, and they could intellectually kind of explain it back to me, but they just didn't believe it, and that just takes more repetitions and more comfort zoning. So we just didn't have that comfort zoning time. So basically, they were all pretty much deer in the headlights, but they kind of didn't know what else to do, and everybody was scared. And at the inside sales desk, they were, because we didn't have open book management and a gain sharing bonus, they were sort of thinking, well, yeah, this guy from the outside is coming in and he's telling me that I have to tell my good, loyal friends who call me up every week and give me a one case order that they got to give me a four case order to get free delivery, and or two case order to come down and pick it up. And they don't need two cases. They only need one case. They're so small. They don't have a place to store it. I mean, I'm empathetic with them. They're loyal, and now because of this big bad guy that's come in, victims kind of thing, and they're fighting back. So they're sneaking through small orders, which we came up with a system for catching. Um, and it was going okay, but then about the second, third week of the program, the branch manager gets a call from independent owner operator competitor across town who said to our branch manager, his name was Charlie, Charlie, I love your new small order program. We're getting all kinds of new business over here. Well, Charlie freaked out. So I had to fly up to this town and give Charlie and the sales manager and some other people emotional first aid, and so we're going to stick with it, type of thing. And lo and behold, when the first month of numbers came through, because of our quick layoffs of outside salespeople and trucks and so forth, the profits had more than tripled. And all of a sudden, Charlie was thinking, wait a minute, this might work. And so, to his credit, he jumped to the head of the parade like he'd been leading it all the time with no weakness, and really worked hard on catching salespeople, inside salespeople, doing sneaking stuff through, saying, no, it's not going to work. We've got to stick with it. We had one small order salesman who worked out of a satellite city, and he had a heart condition. And so we had him commute into the office, and he really became our tele-love guy. He wasn't the most effective in the world, but certainly his core customers actually under the new program were buying lots more, and all his old people stuck with him, so that worked. Um, so it was a net win, but as a general guideline, I would say you can't take an outside sales creature and make them an inside telemarketing kind of person. It's just too big a transition, and the economics typically don't work out. Um, so at any rate, as we tracked the ongoing plunging of inbound phone calls and activity in inside sales and in the warehouse, in other words, we're selling more stuff out of the warehouse, but because the average pick is twice what it was, you don't need as many pickers. So we wound up laying off two inside salespeople and two warehouse people, as we went through the total transition. Um, so that's pretty cool, I suppose. The inbound phone calls had dropped by 60% within 3 months. I mean, that's kind of startling. But sales and margin dollars were very steady, and freight charges were up because our branch manager was saying, "No, charge that guy freight, charge that guy freight." Every day when he was doing his review stuff, he'd say, "No, call him back and tell me he has to order more, put a freight charge on." He knew the customer base so well, he could do that. So freight charges were going up a lot. Now, the question though is, yeah, Bruce, well, fine, short term, anybody can come in with a chainsaw and sort of, prune away, but what does it do to the plant in the long run? How do things go in the long run? So we'll go to the next clip and talk about long term effects. Thanks.